Hello everyone, I'm Claire from Chaintech Partners. I'm a senior analyst, and today I'm the host for Rock the Block. And Eugene Tay and Arthur, the two gentlemen here, are the guests for today. And we're going to talk about tokenomics and token design. So Eugene, you may start to introduce yourself first.
Hey, hi guys from Rock the Block Live. You may have seen me on other videos before where I'm in her position, but today I'm a guest of Chaintech, and Claire's hosting the whole show. We're going to talk about two projects today, and I'll be looking at Steemit. Alright,
Yes.
The next project will be Augur.
Augur, yes. Yeah. I'm Arthur, co-founder of Chaintech Partners. Yeah, it's a pleasure to be here to discuss tokenomics and token design with both Claire and Eugene here. I think it's one of the topic that's lightly touched in a crypto world, but I think it's also getting increased importance as well, because I think after the market has come down, people start to question what is the value of the token. So I think this is a good time to start to discuss this.
Yeah, actually, you're absolutely right on that, because token economics or token design is math and science and a lot of creativity as well. So most of us, I believe, right? Do you guys play games?
A little bit.
Yeah, definitely.
If you're a gamer, somehow the idea of token economics is a bit more natural for you guys.
Yep.
Yeah,
Definitely.
But the one I want to share about today is Steemit. And Steemit is close to my heart for many reasons. Because as a writer and a content producer, having a project on a blockchain that supports creators, this is something I can totally believe and get behind. And the funny thing is, and I was telling Arthur on screen just now, was I have an account of Steemit. I don't even know how Steemit works. I just know I get Steam points and Steam power, and I'm happy about it. But for today, we actually have to do a lot of research. I have to do a lot of research, and it's actually an eye-opener because it's actually very complex.
Yep.
Yeah.
And what I find beautiful about Steemit as well is you don't have to know blockchain. You don't have to know cryptocurrency to be able to use the platform.
Yep.
And I think this is a perfect use case, because if you want to go to the mainstream audience, such very sleek offering and solution without having people to understand what goes into the sausage is key. But for the purpose of explaining what goes into the sausage today, which is what your show is about, I'm going to talk about Steemit and how it works.
But, as a user of Steemit, I want to interview you about your experience using Steemit as an active user, and if you are currently earning any money from Steemit.
Okay, so the thing is, when you talk about Steemit, what people don't really realize is you make money only on the first 7 days. When your post goes live, the first 7 days, that's when whatever points you accumulate there is converted to rewards. What comes after that don't really count. Yeah, so I didn't know that as well, and I saw when I first started, there's a lot of money out there. I get like $30, and I was so happy.
Wow.
Yeah, because this was the early days, and people with high Steam power, they want to support the community, so they see newcomers come in, they will upvote you.
So it's $30 of Steam, or like
Dollar worth of Steam.
Yeah, so
only Steam does Steam power?
no, I did. So how the economics works is, when you receive rewards in Steam dollar. You also receive Steam power. However, Steam power is not something that is immediately converted to dollar value in cash. But the Steam dollar, right, that is meant to be like almost a one-to-one comparison with your USD. So like one Steam dollar is like a one USD.
Yes. So as we mentioned about Steam power and Steam dollar, maybe we can deep dive to the introduction or the design of the Steam tokens.
Yeah. So it may sound very complex, but how the Steem is the cryptocurrency, the dominant coin that's traded on the exchange. Then you have the Steam dollar, which is what you earn as a reward. It's almost like, it's really what is meant to be was like a dollar to dollar equivalent. Right? And then the Steam power. Steam power, even though you could convert it to Steam and then convert it to cash, what Steam power is meant for is your reputation. So when you're working, or when you get rewarded, you don't just get rewarded in a monetary sense, you get rewarded in your reputation in the ecosystem.
Yeah, and also I think you can think of Steam power as kind of like an equity in the Steam platform, because they have a very funny term called power up. So basically, Steem and Steem Power are essentially the same thing, but just that you can power up your Steem to be a Steem Power, and then your Steem Power have a lockup. So
Yes.
it's the same coin, just that a Steem Power have a lockup. So
It's 13 weeks lockup, right?
yeah, so you upgrade your Steem to Steem Power, then you become kind of like an equity holder in the Steem platform. You'll be eligible for certain reward, the block reward generated by the blockchain itself, and also so you're more like an equity holder inside, and the whatever decision you make have more influence on the community. Like you can affect to a certain level the governance of the blockchains, etc. And whatever you upvote, like you have more says that how the content will be created. So like the more Steem Power you have, the more important you are as a content curator
Correct.
and creator as well.
It's your street cred, right?
Yeah. Yep. Exactly.
So do you think the design of Steem Power is targeting at people who want to invest in the community and to attract more investment to the community?
Yes, I think Steem Power, right, is a very well designed way of encouraging the community to self start and to for the self-incentivizing curation and creation. And it also, because it introduced a lockup, right, so it encouraged more of a long-term investment and ownership in the ecosystem as well. So I think this is what the brilliant part about the Steem Power.
So, sorry, go
No,
ahead.
I wanted to mention that when you brought up that very important point of having ownership.
Yes.
When you look at a lot of projects out there in terms of their token economics, it's always revolved around money and greed. But Steem gives you that sense of ownership. Although you could sell your Steem Power for Steem, the question is how many people would? And to power down your rep in the industry, if you started off in 2016 and you're like top 5 Steem influencer, that's your ownership and that's your
The one
stake
to
in it.
start.
I started about 2017, but I haven't been very diligent.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then on the other hand, if we talk about Steem dollars, it's more like a debt
Yeah.
compared to equity.
Yeah, so I think Steem Dollar is it's more complicated. Actually, it's designed as a stable coin. I would say actually it's one of the first few stable coin that come out. So what is stable coin? So a brief introduction of stable coins means that the value is stable relative to any fiat currency. So one of the first few earlier stable coin are
USDT.
Tether, USDT. If you go to Binance or this exchange, you see it's like a proxy for $1. One USDT equal $1. And Steem Dollar is designed to have this in mind, that one Steem Dollar, actually it's called SBD, Steem Blockchain Dollar, will be equals to $1. But they have a different way of maintaining the peg. So different stablecoins have a different way of maintaining the peg. So for like Tether, they claim they have a fully backed bank reserve, like one Tether equals to $1 in their bank account. It's very simple, straightforward. So for Steem Blockchain Dollar, right, it's a bit more complicated. They use a way of market supply and demand to correct down the price, so that if the price is above $1, right, there will be some market arbitrage to lower down the price, and if it's below $1, there should be some market incentive to push it back to $1 again. And I mean, it's a quite a complicated process, but essentially it's using market supply and demand to push the price of the Steem Dollar back to around $1.
Okay, so regarding to stablecoin, do you think it's like less risky compared to other kind of tokens and coins?
Definitely. So I think the reason they want to create stablecoin is because they understand that cryptocurrency are very volatile, and not everyone want to accept this volatility. Like if you accept Bitcoin for payment, 1 second is worth like 6,000-7,000, next second is like 7,200, right? So I think a lot of people think that a stablecoin can bring more adoption of the cryptocurrency, which is why Steem Blockchain Dollar is created, so that the content creator, they have the option. So when you are a content creator in Steem, you have 3 options. You don't get any rewards, or you get a half a Steem Power and half a Steem Dollar. So at least you get part of it's a stable income that you can cash out to US dollar. So that's the purpose of encouraging people to participate and still get some stability.
Okay. Regarding to Steem Dollar, I think there are some concerns about them. Like, let me see, how to minimize the fraudulent fees. Like for this token design, how to mitigate timing attacks. Do you have like any insights on this?
Tokenomics for mitigating the timing attacks. What I understand about Steemit is you cannot just cash out straight away. There is a certain lockdown period. So this mitigates the timing attack. But I think the other parts you might know better on this. When you look at a platform like Steemit and you can actually earn money on post, what opens up the possibilities is people who are coming on board to game the system by just posting crap, right?
Yep.
So technically you would get money for posting crap, but that's where the author reward and the curator reward comes in. Because being an author on its own don't get you the full reward unless people vote you up.
Yes, exactly.
Right? So that's where the curation comes in, because the economic works in a way where you can put anything up as a content creator, but if the community does not support and curate your work as a positive work, you don't get anything out of it. So there is no profit from wasting bandwidth and posting up stuff. But when the community goes, hey, this is a good piece, and they start curating, both the author and the voters get rewarded for that action. That in itself will help the community pick which is the project that's worth to be in the ecosystem and getting paid out of it.
So it's pretty fair.
Yeah, because if you look at Medium or anywhere else right now in the market, you can game the system by buying votes. You can, get likes or get subscribers. But if you want to game the system in Steam, what happens is you have to put in real money to buy Steam, get your Steam dollar, earn your Steam power, be of a certain value in the ecosystem in order to make a real change or real push in someone's creational work. But if you're going to go through that whole effort of getting Steam power, remember we talked about reputation, Steam dollar, and then just to vote up a fraudulent post, you might as well just do the legit way. It saves time.
Waste time.
So that really mitigates the fraudulent part of the ecosystem.
Yeah, so I think for the entire tokenomics part, right, you can understand that actually three things. One is the Steam is like the token in the system, Steam power is the equity of the system, and Steam dollar is a stable coin, but it is also a debt to the system. Because it's essentially it requires a conversion of it guarantee the Steam dollar $1, right? That means that if your Steam token, the total market cap gets lower, that means the ratio of the dollar to the Steam will actually get higher. So you can think of it as a debt in the system. So the Steam blockchain, right, actually they have a ratio currently fixed at 10% debt to equity. So the total value of the Steam dollar can only be maximum capped at 10% of the total Steam value. So you can call it market cap, or you call it market capitalization. So I think actually the Steam power and the Steam token is quite well designed. I think the blockchain dollar part is due to the way that they want to mitigate some concern, is it created some small scalability issues. So basically they are worried that people who
want to cash out very fast.
So that they will cause the instability to the Steam ecosystem, because the Steam ecosystem only if the value of Steam is falling and people keep on to converting the dollar to the stable coin, right, it actually will destabilize the system, because it's like when your debt holder all want to cash out that debt, right? Like let's say you're running a company, you have a debt, then suddenly your debt holder want to convert that debt out and ask for cash payment back. So this will destabilize the company in this one, the ecosystem. So they have some to mitigate this. They call it a timing attack. They require all the conversion requests to be delayed for 3 days, and also to prevent the abuse of conversion, they can only allow the Steam dollar to convert to Steam and not the other way around. So you cannot convert Steam to Steam dollar.
So Steam dollar is more like a convertible debt.
Yes.
And to prevent like timing attack, it only allows like transfer or conversion from Steam dollar to Steam, not the other way around. To control the debt portion of the whole market capital.
Exactly.
Then what will happen if like the debt to equity ratio or the debt to the whole market capital is beyond 10%?
I think in that case they will adjust the production of the Steam dollar. So actually I think this actually create one issue. So actually Steam dollar is one of the older stable coin already. Like it been created since like 2 years ago. But why currently it haven't reached a wide adoption is due to the way that Steam dollar can only be created, because it's capped at the 10% of the total market cap of Steam, right? That means the total supply of Steam dollar, this stable coin, can only grow with the growth of the Steam market cap. So there's an inherent limit of how big this stablecoin can get. So I think that creates issue that the Steem dollar can only be a stablecoin within the Steem ecosystem. It's very hard for them to gain wide adoption in other places.
Unlike USDT and
unlike USDT, like you
But
can
I
do
think
it anyway.
the Steem dollar was created for that purpose, to be only in the Steem network.
There's actually a lot of the people in the community say that we are fine with that. Like we just want it to be used within the community to guarantee certain stability of the income for the Steem community.
Or you said about why Steem didn't get wide scale adoption. To me, it's not really the Steem dollar that's a problem, the scalability of Steem dollar that's a problem, or getting wide mainstream adoption. I feel the UI and the UX is just so clunky. It's not easy to update, and you know, you want to type in your text, you want to put in your URL, it's still very primitive. So that's why I try to use it. I want to use it because it's part of blockchain, but it's so difficult.
So I think people who use this kind of social media, right, you can think of Steemit more like a Reddit. So actually Reddit, right, if for people who use Reddit, right, like if you're new to Reddit, you find it's very clunky as well, very ancient, very old. But why there's still so many people using it? Because it's a legacy, like it has been around for many years and it started that way, so people kind of get used to it. But that's why the Reddit also, it's a bit hard for them to grow their user in a massive way, because the newer generation just cannot get used to the user interface. Even for me, when I get started into the Reddit, it's like, why does people use this kind of interface? It doesn't make sense, right? So I think, and Steemit in interface is slightly better than Reddit, but it's still considered one of the older way. They haven't catch up with the latest version of social media community design. So you want to look at the best design, like blogging platform or content platform. You look at Medium, it's so well curated. That's why even all the blockchain project, they have their blog on Medium as well. 90% of them have it on Medium, and they also have Steemit, but I'll say Medium get more viewership and readership than Steemit.
I find there is one problem with Steemit community. Although it's trying to create a fair ambience for the whole community, that everyone could get rewarded by doing something nice or not in a malicious way. But I found that for people who have more Steem power, they have more power. They have more influence. That means it's not easy or not friendly to discover new talents from this community.
So again, that's where the community itself governs itself. And from the early pioneers, like I mentioned before, when you guys come in, the guys with the Steem power, they're like the big brother. They try to take care of the new guys. So they do vote you, and when higher Steem power guy vote you, you get more reward as well. So the idea is that the old guys, pioneer batch, who governs the culture and the fairness of the whole ecosystem, will bring that culture down to the new guys and transfer that belief over to the new incoming members. And I mean, if you have like tons of Steem power and you've been there for 3 years, you're not likely to want to screw up your own ecosystem, right? So that's the idea.
Exactly.
For tokenomics, absolutely, Arthur is an expert, and we're as Chaintech partners, we are working together with WEBA, the World Education Blockchain Association. We are going to open a course on tokenomics. Like we have basics and advanced. So a brief introduction on WEBA. WEBA is the world's first comprehensive professional education blockchain association, and this association is committed to play an active role in the education blockchain industry. And the first goal is to realize win-win cooperation for all the parties on the chain and create a global education ecosystem. And for people who participate or register and complete the courses, they can also get a certificate from WEBA.
That's great.
Okay, so now we move on to Augur, and I think you can explain very well.
So I think just a brief introduction about Augur. Augur is actually one of the oldest ICO in the Ethereum platform. It was actually launched 3 years ago, and you think that the ICO boom only started last year. So it's actually one of the oldest project, and Vitalik Buterin, the co-founder of Ethereum, actually is their advisor. So it's a very ancient project that took very, very long time, and they just launched their mainnet 2 months or 1 month ago. So their blockchain, the product, the application is live already. So what Augur is about is essentially a decentralized crowd prediction and oracle platform. So what is crowd prediction? Crowd prediction means that you can create any sorts of prediction market on Augur. Let's say I want to create that, will Singapore rain tomorrow? Yeah, and you can create a market for this, and it's a forecasting. So what's so special about this is we are harnessing the intelligence of the crowd, because there's a lot of studies show that for a lot of the events, all this thing, right? Actually, the crowd have a better prediction accuracy than the experts. Yeah, it's just that the intelligence of the crowd is sometimes
but
more.
could it also be because it's everyone believes it to be so, and then it happens?
There is probably some self-fulfilling prophecy in it, but there are some events that usually the crowd doesn't have any control, but they still
Like the
show
weather.
that they still show
We don't
that
have
the
any
crowd
control.
have a better prediction accuracy than the experts. So that's why that it's also a good way for a lot of the hedging to be done. Like for some of the non-traditional market, it's actually that there's no way for you to hedge your exposure. But with Augur, right, you can create all sorts of prediction markets. So there is a way to hedge your exposure. Let's say your house, let's say for some reason you cannot get a fire insurance. You can create a fire insurance market on your house. Yeah, to hedge. Let's say no insurance company want to take your fire insurance. Essentially, it can be done. But will people participate in this market is another question.
Okay.
But essentially, you can create all sorts of prediction market. Yeah.
Okay.
So they just launched a mainnet, and so you can create all sorts of market, like will England win the World Cup, next World Cup or whatever, all sorts of prediction market. So, but we are focusing today on the tokens. The token is called REP, it's reputation. So Augur, the REP token is actually one of the few tokens we think that among the crypto industry they serve a real value and is very well designed. So they only have one token, unlike Steemit, which is slightly more complicated. They have the Steem Power, Steem Dollar, and Steem. Augur only have one token, REP, and this token essentially is very simple. It's like what we call the work token. So you can think of it as if you've heard of the New York taxi system, there's actually a limited taxi medallion in New York. So to be a cab driver in New York, you need to own a taxi medallion. And last time, because there's such a limited supply, like each taxi medallion is like being bid at $1 to $2 million.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Just to be a taxi driver.
yeah, just to become a taxi driver. So you can think of Augur this way, like it's a token for you to perform certain functions, and through doing that, you are eligible for a fee. So to create a prediction market on Augur, right, and to participate, to bet, to trade in the Augur market, you do not need IEP. You can use Ethereum because Ethereum is a native currency. Augur is a DApp that is built on top of Ethereum blockchain. But so what does the token do? The token is required for the reporter. So what happens is when a market concludes, right, you need to have a reporter to report on the outcome. So and for a reporter to report outcome, he or she need to stake a certain amount of REP token to be eligible for the reporting. And if he or she report the outcome accurately, he will be eligible for the predetermined fee from the prediction market. So let's say you create a market that's worth $1 million, and the fee of this is like let's say the reporter will get 0.5%, the market creator will get 0.5%. So the reporter that stake their token to report of it will get 0.5% share of this 1 million bet market, which is not bad. It's like $5,000.
It sounds just like any gambling and betting token, isn't it?
No. So very common you see other blockchain project, right? So the way they design token is just for payment. Let's say there's a casino coin. So the coin is just
Dragon coin?
Yeah, I don't name any coin, but there's like some casino coin, and the token is actually just it's a casino chip. So then begs the question that why would I use your token to play in the casino? I can use Ether, I can use Bitcoin, or even I can use other stable coin, I can use US dollar. Why do I need to use your token, right? There's no incentive. You can give me some incentive, but I think that's still not very strong. So instead, Augur remove this layer. You do not need to use that token if you just want to play. So this actually help the adoption because I do not need to get another token. Actually, you introduce the more token, you introduce more friction. So, but what the IEP token do is you're eligible to
Create market?
To report on the outcome of the market and get certain fee from doing so. So essentially, you can think of a IEP token as a way for you to do some work and earn the fee through doing that.
So in that sense, it's a little bit like Steemit then, right? Because Steemit, you create the content, but for REP, you report on the predicted content.
Yes. And so I think the way you can do it is the more IEP you have, right? That means I think it kind of signify your reputation among the community, so that people like for the more important and big market, people will choose you as a designated reporter because you have been reporting outcome correctly for the last many times, and you hold a lot of IP. So, and if you report incorrectly, there is a dispute resolution mechanism. If you purposely misreport, people can dispute your outcome, and if they successfully dispute it, you lose your stake as well. So it can encourage the reporter to report on the correct outcome. Yeah, so essentially when the market gets very big, the reporter can actually be a full-time job by just reporting on the outcome of the betting market. Yeah, so essentially it's possible.
Is everybody able to create a market with REP on Augur platform?
Yeah, so any people can create the betting market on the Augur platform. There's no limit.
But whether anyone's going to report for you on your behalf that they like it, or whether they can create a community around the stuff that you want to predict, that's a different story.
Yeah. So I think it actually requires some skill. I think like if we are based in Singapore, so I think a lot of the locals we like to have play into a small like 4D market, all the things. Essentially, you can replicate this market in Augur. Yeah. Whether it's legal or not, I'm not sure. But essentially, you can do that. And if you're very well-run market creator, and you can encourage people to bet on your platform, on your betting market, then you can become like a prediction market creator, and this can be a part-time job, a full-time job. And yeah, you can also have your friend as a reporter that always report the outcome accurately. Yeah, and you can earn a fee through doing
nice,
so.
Nice.
Yeah, but I think the current key problem with Augur now is getting people to use it. It's still not very user-friendly, and there's a lot of market now, but there's a lack of volume to participate in the market. So unless you are like some market that's very interesting that a lot of people want to play, it struggles to attract a bit of the volume to come in and participate in this market.
You know, I picked up 3 things from this discussion alone. Like, if you want to create a successful ICO, the 3 things that you need to think of. 1 is let people have the chance to earn money. Both Steemit and Augur does that. 2, don't just focus on wealth and greed. Actually give the members in your system or network a chance to have ownership, which in the form of Steem power and Augur reputation. And the 3rd and the most important is please have a nice user-friendly interface, because look at Steemit and Augur, you don't get adoption because it's just so clunky to use.
I still don't know how to use Augur.
Yeah, it's not, and because you still need to, for Steemit you do not need to interact blockchain, but for you to use Augur, you need to interact with the Ethereum blockchain. You need to know what is the gas, what is a gas free, how does this thing works. Yeah, and you need to be a bit more careful to use it as well.
You need to be techy and geeky.
Yeah, there might be some problem with like the platform and scalability, because this is a DApp built on Ethereum, so it might be influenced by Ethereum, like scalability.
Yeah, so I think so that's one of the potential issues with Augur is a DApp built on top of the Ethereum platform. So there's a limit of how much transaction Augur can do due to the limitation of Ethereum blockchain. So if Ethereum did not improve the blockchain performance significantly in the next few years, it's also Augur as a platform will also struggle to increase the volume and the adoption as well. But I think the Augur team is also exploring to build it and make it compatible with other blockchain as well. I think this is something a work in progress.
Okay, so today during our show, we have tried really hard to simplify the token design of Augur and Steemit, and hope you enjoy this show. Thank you for Viva who supported us with this venue and ambience here. And for Chaintech partners, we are going to launch some courses on token design, tokenomics in the future, and we can update through Rock the Block and Crypto Central in the future. And thank you very much, Eugene, for giving us.
Hey, it's a pleasure, guys.
Yeah, thank you.
See you
Hope
guys.
you enjoy the show.
Bye.